reach from me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Who's donkey? Man, come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our I get everybody sell some every day. They're selling one island, we and they won't keep. What can be left for you and me? Is this the example? What's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too? Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling our they're selling our country, yes, yes. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling
Whoa, girls, we out doing
selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. And I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. And I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Hey, hey. Ride him. My mother always say, when you find a donkey, ride it. Who's donkey? What? Come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of
document released by Tenneco? It's a Tenneco 1986 internal report. States that and I start with a document released by Tenneco. It's a Tenneco 1986 internal report. States that the oil projections in the Bahamas are anywhere from 4 billion to 17 billion barrels. In 1986, Lyndon Pinland gave Tenneco authorization to drill 7 exploratory wells. The names of those wells are Manta Bay, Sand Shark, Bluefin, Lionfish, Blue Marlin, Grouper, and Hammerhead. Now, findings. Manta Bay estimate 1.447 billion barrels.
So, the first question most people ask is, why are you in the Bahamas? And there's some sort of presumption that it's about palm trees and beaches and cocktails, but actually we're in the Bahamas because it's a very, very, very prolific oil-producing region. There were, as I'll get into in a few minutes, there are historical wells. It's in a very prolific oil-producing region. There's been a 3D seismic campaign. And
Lionfish, estimate 0.94 billion barrels. Grouper, estimate 6.492 billion barrels. Hammerhead, estimate 1 billion.
Supporters of Bahamian evolution were back on Bay Street today, occupying Rawson Square while the country's lawmakers were at work. Once again, they expressed disappointment over a number of issues and voiced concerns over aragonite mining. The group, led by activist Lincoln Bain, has been marching for several months, pushing for a nation of owners as opposed to a nation of workers. But while proceedings took place inside the lower chamber, a smaller group of protesters gathered outside the House of Assembly, expressing concern over a number of issues, most prominently the controversy surrounding aragonite mining. The group, which has previously lobbied for an end to aragonite mining and protection of natural resources, peacefully occupied a space across from Parliament. Organizers could be heard over megaphones announcing their plans on delivering a letter to the Governor General's office requesting an independent commission of inquiry to investigate natural resources in the Bahamas.
Meantime, chaos erupting outside of Parliament today as protesters voiced their concerns on several national issues. This as the business of the House resumed after a month-long summer break. Jose Etienne was there as the drama unfolded.
Tempers flaring as hundreds of aggrieved residents stormed their way to Parliament Square this morning to protest against a number of legislative issues which they sought to bring to government officials' attention as they entered Parliament for its early session. Leading the way in the protest was political activist Lincoln Bain, who blocked the entrance to Parliament as he addressed the crowd. Meanwhile, police beefing up their presence in the downtown area as they sought to bring law and order to the chaotic scene. Now, what was the protest all about?
The government has decided that they are going to go against two referendums of the Bahamian people, and they are going to pass a law that goes against what we told them to do. And we are here to tell them that no means no.
Bain is making reference to the citizenship bill, which is currently under review. Public debate surrounding this bill gained traction after Attorney General Ryan Pinder revealed to reporters in August that government will not hold a referendum to decide whether it should equalize access to citizenship, but will rather pass it through legislation. However, that's a position which Bain and hundreds of Bahamians are taking grave exception to.
If you want to pass a bill reference to citizenship, come back to the citizens. It is reference to us. It is a citizenship bill, and it is about the citizens. So come back to us and let us decide. Don't talk down to us. Don't tell us that we don't know what is right.
Now, Prime Minister Philip Davis did say that the citizenship bill will most likely not be tabled by year's end. However, Bain contends that protests like these will not stop until that bill is permanently off the table.
That bill will be torn to shreds and burnt before we allow that to be tabled in our house. And we are going to do, and you can print this in bold, whatever means necessary to make sure that they do not pass a bill that is going to hurt us.
Meantime, opposition leader Michael Pintard asserting that they have not been consulted on any bill as there is no bill before Parliament. Bain also accusing the Davis administration of having a secret agenda behind the citizenship bill.
We are concerned that they're going to put forward the gender bill that they know that most people would agree with, and then sneak in the table in these other legislation that we do not want. That is our major concern.
Protesters also challenging government to ensure that the country reaps the rewards from its natural resources.
We're going to table the bill for our natural resources because we have had enough. They are now confessing to everything that I've been saying. When I was talking about carbon credits, they said I was selling dreams. Now, in that House of Assembly, you witnessed it. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Works said that the industry is worth $33 trillion. We have the most carbon credits in the world. Why are we poor?
Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
We turn our attention now to a country in crisis, one that must close the door to illegal Haitian migrants. So says an outspoken activist who's calling on the government to address the problem here at home before committing to do so overseas in Haiti. It's a message he says he and his supporters intend to drive home to the international community during CARICOM's high-level meeting later this month, should the government continue to fail in its responsibilities. Cleopatra Murphy has the details. That was the frustrated chant of scores of Bahamians accompanying Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain, calling on government to take immediate action to address what he says is a 60-year illegal immigration problem that's ballooned into a crisis. Crown land for all Bahamians and Bahamas for Bahamians, just some of the messages plastered on placards held by protesters confined behind steel barricades under heavy police presence. Bain contends that the Bahamas is under siege by illegal Haitian nationals, a situation that has reportedly led to schools being overrun and crime going unchecked.
I do not take patience. All we want is for the legal proliferation to stop on all levels. The smuggling of people, guns, and drugs. It has to stop. We're tired of our governments making excuses, y'all.
But the U.S. Coast Guard, responsible for several recent large interceptions, he questioned the Defense Force's failure to do the same. On the issue of work permits for Haitians, Bain says he approves government putting them on hold, but is concerned that revised policy for permits to reside on a case-by-case basis can still be abused.
The leader of a Haitian gang can see this as an opportunity, a loophole, and he can then jump on a rickety boat, come to the Bahamas with his guns and his money, and then go to our government and say, hey, these are the gang leaders, they threatening me. And they're threatening my family.
Bain also hit out at government for forcibly driving Bahamians off Crown land when he says consecutive governments have failed to address the expansion of Haitian shanty towns.
They call us criminals. They brought the defense force for us. They brought military for us. They brought the police for us. They brought their armored vehicles for us. For us. But they can't dare go in the Haitian village where there's proliferation, where the people are building houses. You can't have two laws in one country.
If government won't address the problem, he called on Bahamians to act on their own.
No illegal immigrant is welcome in this country. Where you see illegal shanty towns on your land, break it down.
Minister of Labor and Immigration, the Honorable Keith Bell, addressing the issue in the House of Assembly, affirmed that people have a right to protest, and they are at times necessary.
We are always open to listen. Indeed, at a previous protest, I received a proposal which was reviewed and considered. I would ask everyone to ensure that whilst we face these challenges, let sanity prevail. We are a country of laws, Madam Speaker, and the maintenance of law and order must remain a cornerstone of our country. Xenophobia has no place in the Bahamas, nor does the arbitrary harassment of any person on the basis of any perception as to their nationality.
Bell says the country will enforce its immigration laws, and those who violate them will be deported. But Bain insists if officials don't solve the issues that attracted protesters, there will be no Bahamas. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain, along with hundreds of party activists gathering outside Russell Square to continue their protest against what they consider to be an invasion of Haitian nationals in country. And at this point, they're crying shame on the Davis administration.
You have all failed us. You have failed us.
This comes as Immigration Minister Keith Bell recently announced last week Friday a temporary ban on work permits being issued this year as Haiti continues to experience heightened levels of chaos. But Bain says that alone will not be enough to get a grip of the ongoing issue.
The problem with that is now they're saying that they are stopping permits to reside, but they're going to do it on a case-by-case basis. All applications to immigration is on a case-by-case basis. I don't know what he is trying to say.
COI's leader also questioning whether local law enforcement agencies are up to the task of addressing the immigration issue.
We are seriously concerned that as of late, for many, many months, we are not seeing the apprehension of these illegal boats by the defense force. How is it all of a sudden the defense force can't catch these boats? And they're only getting caught by the Coast Guard after they've already gone to our country. How is that possible?
He's also concerned about the proliferation of shanty towns across the country.
They have built hundreds of more acres of homes right on the side of the highway, not hidden in the bush, right on the highway. And the government doesn't even mention it. It's blatant and in our faces.
That said, Bain is threatening to take their concerns before CARICOM if government does not act in their favor.
We intend to visit CARICOM and let them know that the Bahamian Prime Minister did not speak for the Bahamian people when he said that the Bahamian people are determined to solve the crisis in Haiti. We need to be determined to solve the crises in the Bahamas.
Now, there has been concerns from individuals who feel as though Bain and COI supporters are targeting Haitian nationals, despite arguing that they're generally concerned about an overall immigration issue. Well, to that, here's Bain's response.
We're concerned about all illegal immigration. However, there is a crisis right now where we are being flooded and overrun. People on the family islands, including members of parliament, is saying that there's a crisis and they need help. And so they're not saying that they need help because the Chinese are flooding our country and building shanty downs. They're not saying they need help because the Jamaicans are flooding our islands and building shanty downs. The problem is we are in a crisis because of a specific group of people. And we have to close the door to them right now.
Amidst all of the pomp and pageantry during the opening of Parliament, the Coalition for Independence attempted to put their concerns in the spotlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a trip down memory lane. For the last 4 years or so, Bahamian Evolution, which evolved into the Coalition of Independence, which is going to evolve into the next government of this country, has been fighting for all Bahamians, fighting for the sovereignty of this nation, fighting for Bahamians to benefit from our natural resources and our carbon credits. This is nothing new for us. This is something that we have been doing and will continue to do. This is not political for us. This is life. This is not about elections for us. This is about the future of our people. This is about an attempted genocide on a people, an annihilation, gentrification that is happening to a people. And we've been fighting not just for those people to survive. We've been fighting for them to be empowered. That is what this is about. Before I start this today, and I want to thank all of you for tuning in from wherever you're tuning in from, I want to get right to it so I don't go too long on this today. But we have a couple of things to talk about, including WHO deal that the government is making. And of course, Anthony Fauci has been interviewed by the Congress in the United States. And it has been determined that the things that Pintard and Minnis did, and I put Pintard first because he took over as leader, so now he has to take the responsibility. If a company had one CEO, and that CEO quits or retires, another CEO is there, it doesn't matter that it happened under the last CEO. You're the CEO now, and you're responsible, especially if you were there participating with that CEO, but we'll get to that in a minute. I want you to look at this before I get started. All right? I want you to watch these. We tabled bills in the House of Assembly to be passed on behalf of the Bahamian people so that the Bahamian people can benefit. This is nothing new for us, and we are not finished with this. I want you to see this. It's just a trip down memory lane tonight. And so watch this one. Just 4 minutes, and then we'll watch the next one. I want you to remember how they responded when we sent the bill drafted to the House of Assembly so that every Bahamian could benefit from their natural resources. At this point, Aragonite.
Members of Parliament clashed in the House of Assembly on Wednesday over the introduction of a bill that seeks to repeal the Oceans Industry Aragonite Mining Encouragement Act. Moments after it was tabled, a shouting match erupted across the floor. The drama unfolded after a leader of government business in the House, Renward Wells, sought to challenge the first reading of the bill, even as protesters in favor of the bill chanted outside of the House of Assembly that it is their time. Inside Parliament, it was Free National Movement MP for Pine Ridge, Frederick McAlpine, who sought to introduce the bill. But Wells, his parliamentary colleague, said McAlpine did not give the required notice at the last sitting of the House.
I rise to introduce and have read for the first time the following bill. A bill to enact to repeal the Ocean Industry Incorporated Aragonite Mining Encouragement Act, 1971. I so move.
With your leave, Mr. Speaker, we'd like to address the matter so that there's no confusion as to the government's position on this issue. Because we're not going to allow folks to make this a political issue, Mr. Speaker, because the House has already taken this under advisement. The House is already moving with this issue. And so, Mr. Speaker, we're not going to allow, there's a whole slew of people outside waiting.
As well as pushed for a vote, House Speaker Halson Moutry delivered a swift ruling on the dispute.
The ruling is that the member is entitled to the first reading, and that the bill should be laid on the table and be part of the agenda, and the House can then debate it and dispose of it.
It was that ruling by the Speaker that prompted a shouting match between members on opposing sides. Even when the Speaker stood a signal for the House to come to order, members continued to hurl accusations across the floor.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable. Honorable members, honorable members. Honorable members, honorable member for Golden Gates, honorable member for Golden Gates, and honorable member for Eggleston. Both of you are shouting across the floor and the Speaker standing.
Once order was restored, Moutry asked members who were opposed to the first reading of the bill to stand. After a few seconds passed, Wells motioned to several governing members to stand. Several members, including Jeffrey Lloyd, Marvin Daines, and Albert Johnson, stood along with Wells. However, despite an intervention from Wells, the Speaker said he is satisfied that the first reading of the bill was approved. But tempers still flared despite members of Parliament moving on to the first reading of another bill, as Mount Moriah MP Marvin Daines tabled the Parliamentary Elections Amendment Bill 2020. He and Eggleston MP Gladys Hannah Martin got into a shouting match.
I don't come to this house. I don't come to this house to take foolishness. I come to do the people's bidding. Okay? The games that are being played in here from the old playbook, it ain't gonna work. It don't work with me. I'm talking to you.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown. Days after, there was a dramatic showdown in the House of Assembly over the Turns out that parliamentarians will not
With over
debate it
8
after all.
million
This after the
broadcasts
House
and over
agreed for the
600 million viewers
Select
engagement,
Committee on Natural
Restream is
Resources.
the #1
However, the
tool
decision
to
did not go down without sparking some drama. House Speaker Thurston took on the controversial topic moments after the proceedings started on Wednesday morning, as he noted the fact that the bill was tabled by Pine Ridge MP Frederick McAlpine last Wednesday as it's grabbed public interest. In his ruling, Moutry said the bill is a money bill and noted that the Constitution states that money bills need the consent or approval of Cabinet.
A money bill can only be introduced and proceeded upon in this Parliament with the consent of the Cabinet through one of its ministers.
Section 59, subsection 3 of the Constitution states, except on the recommendation of the Cabinet signified by a minister, the House of Assembly shall not A, proceed upon any bill, including any amendment to a bill, which in the opinion of the person presiding makes provision for imposing or increasing any tax, for imposing any charge on the consolidated fund or any other public fund, or altering any such charge otherwise than by reducing it for compounding or remitting any debt due to the Bahamas. Following the Speaker's ruling, Leader of Government Business in the House, Renford Wells, who sought to block the tabling of the bill last week, then moved for the bill to be sent to the Select Committee on Natural Resources, but not before being heckled by members of the opposition.
I'm just putting forward the policy of the government. And all of it, Mr. Speaker, has been agreed. Listen.
Honorable members.
They're telling me stay focused. You know, Cat Island. You and I had a conversation.
Honorable members.
I lost Cat Island.
Yeah.
The only job I've been auditioning for, I got. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, I will move that this bill, this money bill, be sent to the Select Committee.
Meantime, McAlpine sought clarification on the Speaker's ruling and suggested that the whole point of the bill is to address the money that the government gets for the sale of the country's natural resources.
The bill that I have laid on this House on behalf of the people, as they have asked me to do, and I'm quite comfortable I would have done what they would have asked and required of me, is now on the shoulders of this House.
The House then voted to send the bill to the committee for consideration, at which point Moultrie asked Chairman for the Committee on Natural Resources to clarify how many times they have met and when they plan to next meet.
This House, as the Honorable Member for Bamboo Town just said.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We just wanted to go down a little trip down memory lane, and all of these videos are right now on they are on YouTube, and so you can go and just search for Bahamian Evolution protests, Aragonite bills, all of these things. You can familiarize yourself with all of these. There's another bill here that we tabled, and it was to do with the immigration crisis, and that is when they arrested me at the steps of Parliament. We went in there to table a bill to save our country from being overrun, and they did not want that bill passed, so they sent the police officer. This one is in recent memory, so you maybe remember this, but they sent a police officer to harass us at that time. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of you who just started following us. Sorry, I think I misdid the thing behind me. There are a lot of you just started following us in recent times, and so you really don't know all that we have done. There's some of you who have been probably living in other countries, etc., and you don't know what it is that we have done, what it is that we're doing. You don't know what it is that we're about, and so I challenge all of you to go and do some research on Bahamian Evolution and do some research on the Coalition of Independence, because all of the information is right there for you to avail yourselves with, if you wish to do so. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to make this abundantly clear. You see what the topic of today's show is, and it is the truth about Ricardo Thurston. I'll start with that. Let me put your comments up there so you can see yourselves no matter which platform you're on. I'll just put that up for you so you can see. Because some people are on YouTube, a lot of people are on YouTube tonight, YouTube, and some people are on Facebook. So I just want to make sure you can see comments from all over. All right. I want to say this. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent times, a lot of people were calling me and contacting me about comments made by certain people and new groups out there with new ideas and plans and they're calling me to ask me my opinion because a lot of people respect my opinion and I appreciate that. I respect you feeling the need to call me because you know that I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what's really going on, and so I appreciate that. And so people were calling me about stuff that happened on the radio where I was being attacked by other persons. And they were calling me about the way forward and how we should do this. And they had a lot of questions. And, they were asking me, about it's not Tyrone, that's a musician, about Ricardo Thurston. And I want to say this, and I want to make this abundantly clear to all of you, because the person called me and challenged me to a debate, which I do not know what the point of that debate would be. But they called me and asked me about this person. And I can tell you this. Ricardo Thurston is not my enemy by any means. Despite what that he may object to me or he may object to my opinions or way of doing things, he's not my enemy. Your calls are important to me, but the calls that really move me? It's the calls from Bahamians suffering in this country every day. The calls from Bahamians being abused by their employers, which includes the government, every single day. I get dozens of calls from persons in situations with their employers for advice or to call their employer to help them. Every week, I get hundreds of calls from people who just want food to eat, from people who just need a little hand with groceries, from people who can't pay their light bill and their rent, from people who have nowhere to live. Every single week, I get hundreds of calls, and no, I cannot help everyone. No one could help the amount of people that the calls I get. That's what moves me. And so when I see, persons coming and saying that they care about the Bahamas and they care about Bahamians and this kind of stuff, I want to know how many of those calls do you get every day? Because if you are getting calls from people who are in trouble, when their employer is abusing them, do they call you? When they're living on the beach with their 6 children, do they call you? And the reason I'm asking you that, because there's many people who help. This isn't about me. There's many people who help in this country today. The reason I'm asking you that is because if you actually get these calls, you will be able to prioritize and focus on what is important in this country. Who is the smarter young man? Who knows more about natural resources, carbon credits? Who is more Bahamian than the other one is not important. There are Bahamians who can't get help from social services while foreigners are being assisted by social services right now. This is important. The thing that we are fighting for could help all these Bahamians who are suffering right now, and that is what moves me. So the only people I am interested in debating is the people who have the pen that I need them to sign, or for them to get lost, and for us to sign, for us to get our natural resources and our carbon credits. Who knows the most about natural resources? Doesn't matter. Who could list all the natural resources? Doesn't matter. Who knows the most about carbon credits? It doesn't matter. Who said it first and who said it last? It doesn't matter. Bahamians are suffering in this country on a daily basis, while these politicians are bawling, giving themselves consultation contracts, giving consultation contracts. Now almost $80 million just for consultants, so that they could rob and thief money from that and give it back to themselves. These are who I am interested in debating. The reason I get kicked, stumped, dragged in front of the whole Bahamas and in front of my children and my daughter who cried when she read on Facebook and saw what was happening to me, told me she didn't want to see me get arrested anymore. Leave these Bahamians alone. They don't have sense. Because they still will consider voting for the people who are abusing them. It's my little daughter. And I must tell them, Daddy got to do this. If you are getting the calls that I am getting on a daily basis, you would not see the need for a million third parties, a million groups and organizations. We will all see the need to come together as one and to come together as Bahamians. If you see what I see on a daily basis. So people were asking me about the challenge by Thurston. Who is Tyrone Thurston? I keep calling him that because that's a musician in the country. I'm sorry. I mean Ricardo Thurston. I'll just say Thurston. Who is Thurston? Thurston is a barber. That's what he does. He's a barber. He cuts hair on Robinson Road. That is nothing degrading. Thurston is a man with a high school education. We've had two prime ministers with high school education. He's a man with a high school education who lived in the US for a while and got on one of those apps and started trading as a hobby, a side thing apparently. Things, I guess, weren't good enough in the US and he decided to come back to the Bahamas, so now he's a barber. But what he is, that's more important than any of that, he's a Bahamian. He's a Bahamian. He's a Bahamian who saw the need to go outside of the country to better himself. Like so many other Bahamians have to do. I'm trying to be careful in how I say this. Like so many other Bahamians. And when I see the amount of Bahamians who have to leave this country to try to get a better life, this is why I fight. This is what's important to me. It's important. Our children are being kicked out of this country. We're being we're experiencing gentrification. And many of those who go to Canada for a better life, go to the US for a better life, etc., they end up right back in the Bahamas. But Mr. Thurston is a Bahamian who we are fighting for. I have no beef or disagreement with that man. I respect the fact that Mr. Thurston, who's a barber, that he decided to have the courage to read up on the past, have the courage to go on a radio show and speak up against it. Not many Bahamians have that courage. And so I thank him for his contribution in being a regular Bahamian who decides to take a stand. And guess what? We need more like him. We need more of our common Bahamians, our taxi drivers, our teachers, our plumbers, our barbers, to come and take a stand. Not politically, not for politics, not for election, but for this country that we are about to lose. And so I have nothing against that gentleman. I will say nothing ill about the gentleman. And I'm saying this because a lot of people have been calling me, wanting me to take a side or say something. That gentleman is someone that I am fighting for. And I will continue to fight for. And no, he is not my enemy. He ain't do nothing to this country. The F&M and the PLP have done to this country. So for anyone else out there who wants regular Bahamians who want to debate with me, I'm not interested. I am interested in those who are ready to fight to save this little land that we got, the little bit we got left. The immigration problems have not stopped, They're still in the papers, So to Mr. Thurston and all of the people who support him, I stand with you. And I ask you to stand with us as Bahamians. Now, there's a question, though, of persons were saying that they couldn't work with us because they couldn't make it political. And before I say this, I want to say something to all of those who are activists out there. This is important. I want you to understand this. To all of you who are activists out there, someone having a difference in opinion from you is not an attack. It's a difference in opinion. Someone seeing something differently from you is not an attack. It's a difference in opinion. We cannot say that we're not going to work together because you think all of us want to go to the mall. You say we should drive in a truck. I say we should drive in the car. Oh, I tell everyone we going in the truck. He come around here and say we should go in the car. Oh, why he attacking me? That's not an attack. In order for us to obtain our one goal, which is fighting for this nation and for us to benefit, we have to be able to agree to disagree. And if we can't agree to disagree,